They were out protesting in Delhi streets, hoping the vibrant media of their host country would latch on to their pleas. Burmese refugees couldn't tolerate the presence of Burma's Supremo, Senior General Shwe's presence in India. But other than a few cover pictures in India's English language press, their cries went largely unheard. Television news and regional language press virtually ignored the visit, while the English language press covered it only sporadically. There was hardly any attempt to harness the potential role Indian media could play in addressing Burma's ills and New Delhi's foreign policy concerning its military-ruled neighbor to the east.
Well, the Indian media generally does not pay much attention to issues in the east of the country, and of course India's eastern neighbors are perpetually neglected. A Bangladeshi editor, Mr. Mahfouz Anam, whom edits the Daily Star in Dhaka, once said that India has two neighbors and Bangladesh is not one of them. I would say rather that Burma is also not one of them. Indian foreign policy, Indian media, everyone seems to be obsessed with either China or Pakistan. And therefore issues in Burma are not given enough attention.
Senior General Shwe is seeking support from India for the upcoming election, which is a fraud. He is here to explain Mr. Manmohan Singh about the election. Regarding the friendship between the two countries, we would like to say that India should not collaborate with Burmese government, which kills its own people.
Senior General Shwe's second Indian trip since 2004 commenced with a visit to Bodh Gaya. Flanked by his coterie of ministers and wife, the Junta leader offered prayers and money at the Buddhist temple. With elections right around the corner to bring about disciplined democracy in Burma, not a single word regarding the issue appears to have passed between the leaders of the two countries, an omission dutifully unremarked upon by a vast majority of Indian media outlets. New Delhi, for its part, made it clear that the meeting with Burmese leader was all about their primary interests of security, trade, and balance of power politics.
I don't think India should have anything to do with the election. There is no election that we should recognize. India should clearly tell the military generals that we do not recognize their election. We do not recognize what their whole process of building this so-called constitution of theirs. And if they lock up their leaders and then conduct an election, the election is a farce.
Here is a timeline of Indian government's interaction with Burmese leaders since the turn of the millennium. In 2000, Vice President Mongwe meets Indian Air Force of East Army headquarters in Shillong of India. The same year, Indian Navy Chief meets Mongwe in Rangoon in Burma. Indian Foreign Minister meets military junta leaders in Rangoon in 2001. Next year, Indian Vice General of Armed Forces meets Mongwe in Rangoon. The same year, Indian Foreign Minister meets General Khin Nyute in Rangoon. Burmese Foreign Minister Wu Win Ong visits New Delhi in 2003 and Indian Vice President Bhairav Singh Shekhawat comes for a visit to Burma. In 2004, Senior General Shwe visits India. And in 2005, Indian Minister of Oil and Natural Gas visits Burma. The same year, Indian Foreign Minister visits Burma and Burmese Ministry of Energy comes down to Delhi. In 2006, Indian President Dr. Abdul Kalam goes for a visit to Burma. Again in 2007, Indian Oil and Natural Gas Minister goes for a visit to Burma and Indian Foreign Minister along with a group of Indian delegates visits Naypyidaw. The same year, even the Indian Navy Chief visits Naypyidaw. In 2008, General Mongwe visits India. And the next year, which is in 2009, Indian Vice President Hamid Ansari visits Burma and meets Senior General Shwe. From this, it's evident that since 2000, the Indian government has demonstrated its benign negligence toward Burma's struggle for democracy, preferring to prioritize national economic interests, a line the press has for the most part been willing to toe. When the Western countries ask India to join hands to isolate Burmese dictatorship, the media of the world's largest democracy maintains its relative silence, and so does the country.
There is a pragmatic diplomatic move. It's something we needed to do because we have to deal with our neighbors. Point is, I call it the democracy hangover because it's very simple. Preach democracy and its values to the world, but embrace dictators in your own backyard, and that, remember, doesn't work. What have we seen in our neighborhood? Since 2001, when the India government came to power, we have supported dictators and military regimes in Bangladesh. We have supported, we have for a long time, for 33 years, supported Asia's longest ruling dictator in the Maldives, Maumoon Abdul Qayyum. We have supported the Burmese now.
After meeting with Manmohan Singh on 27th of July, both leaders discussed cross-border terrorism and ways to better trade relations between the two neighbors. MOUs are signed. Shwe returned home with further commitments from his Indian counterpart for better cooperation in the development of Shwe port and roads connecting the Indian states of Mizoram and Manipur to Burmese cities and ports. Promises were made for better collaboration in the exploration of natural gas, petroleum and in the development of the telecommunication and agricultural sectors. These aspects of the dictator's visit were eagerly dispersed to the public by India's Ministry of External Affairs.